whenever we start this and it says you are live, I always hear like this weird Max Headroom riff in my head that like, here we are live and direct from Network 23.
Nice.
And then I realized like that's not a joke really anybody gets anymore, a reference that anyone gets anymore, because there's my friend Aid Brown in London, England. He's a cool guy, and me. And those are the only two people that even remember what Max Headroom was.
I don't know. It's you know, it could hit that sort of that irony nostalgia stage at some point. People will get back into it, you know.
Let's hope. Well, anyway, are we official? Like I tried to make. I went to my father-in-law's this weekend, so I didn't have time to fuck around, and I think that we've come to an agreement, right? Everyone, all the loose association of like-minded individuals that are all here that are pals, like, so we've decided it's Dork Trek. Right?
Dork Trek.
Is that the name?
Dork Trek.
Oh. We're either losing John or losing me. Yeah. Okay.
I'm in.
Is that you? Yeah. Is that you or is that me? We got a lot of.
I don't know. I don't know.
Who cares? Let's play through. So yeah, Dork. So welcome everyone to the first episode of Dork Trek. It's me, your pal Lair, and there's Dr. John Price, PhD, lending a bit of gravitas and class to the situation, right? I don't know where to begin. There's so much Star Trek stuff. Are we done crapping on Terry Matalas yet? I know that when you went to go see him in Richmond, you guys went out to dinner and had some kind of romantic
he's good at what he does. He's good at what he does.
Did you hear?
He's a smooth talker.
Did you hear this new thing?
No.
That TrekMovie.com says today? Hey, there's still no movement on a possible thing that we once thought maybe somebody had considered called Star Trek Legacy. Terry Matalas says there's nothing going on. Like that was their headline.
Never a thing.
I almost want to go.
Star Trek Legacy was never a thing. It was Terry Matalas and Dave Blass on Twitter being like, hey, if you like season 3, you should petition for more Star Trek that we're in charge of because we have this cool idea called Star Trek Legacy. Wouldn't that be awesome? It was never a thing. Like, it's deader than the fucking Worf show. Like, it's not even like there's no meetings, there's no nothing. It's just a Twitter hashtag. That's all it is.
There's no nothing they see here.
Yeah.
What was that other thing? Oh, okay. Well, let's talk some more about that though, because holy crap! When you read the article, everything on Trek Movie sounds like the kind of ass I'm allergic to. But God bless old Terry Matalas. What he's saying, I don't know if is the original plan or is just their spin after thinking about it for so long. But he's like, look, we didn't intend for there to be like an instant sequel to this show. We just thought it would be cool that it's a Next Generation season. And then that last shot is the next generation of the next generation. And when you put it like that, yeah, that's cool. But that wasn't their messaging until today.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, they're a bunch of idiots. I mean, course, again, that was like, it was never a thing. It was never... There was never like, oh yeah, our follow-up to Star Trek Picard is Star Trek. No, it was just a hashtag, Chris Sagasag. It was just a hashtag. And it's, dude, fucking, I could write my fanfic and fucking just like hashtag Star Trek John Price. And it would be the same. It would be the same legitimacy as Terry Matalas' Star Trek Legacy.
I sadly
now I kind of want to do that.
It's like everybody thinks that's a big... Well, I think you have at least 6 or 7 people ready to help you in any way you want.
At least 6, possibly 7.
At least, yeah. Depends on.
I don't know. If I keep bashing on For All Mankind, I might lose all my Twitter followers. I don't know.
Oh man.
Yeah, can we just talk about
one more Star Trek hour? Let me get this one more Star Trek thing out, and then I'll ride that shit into the sun with you, because those people are fucked up. Anyway,
Okay.
So the other Star Trek thing that was super cool was Paul Giamatti was. I sent you the link like an hour ago. You probably didn't have time to see it, but he was doing some Danish press for The Holdover, some movie he was in, and apparently the guy who does these interviews always works like Star Trek into his press, no matter what. But he knows that Giamatti is a huge Star Trek fan, so he gets to him talking, like it's his dearest wish to play Klingon, but parts like that don't come to him. But like, and they're like, well, maybe we can do something, and they cut together the most hilarious thing of stuff from different episodes with him saying, I'm not drinking Merlot in Klingon.
Nice.
So that was a fantastic 3 minutes of my day today.
Nice.
And I urge everyone to look that up. Paul Giamatti Klingon on the YouTube.
Yeah, I did see the link. I did not watch it. But yeah, I did see it. That was fun. Good times.
It's fluffy.
I like Paul Giamatti. Right? I like him. He's a good guy. He's, he's an everyday kind of guy.
I've never seen him in a movie that I did not enjoy.
There you go.
His part, he always just bites into it. Like, this could be everybody knows this is Oscar bait, so he wins Oscars, right? And then there's like, well, this is some action adventure nonsense. I really feel like being a bad guy and tearing up the scenery for a little while. And then he's excellent at that. It's just, he's a very versatile actor. And he's like the one thing I liked about Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes. His orangutan was just, and the Rick Baker makeup was really cool because they just made Paul Giamatti look like an orangutan, They didn't have,
funny.
Like Tim Roth, they made him look like a chimpanzee and like, wow, that's a chimpanzee talking like Tim Roth. But the exact opposite thing. I mean, 3/4 of it is he has the same coloring as an orangutan, right? Like that's why they cast him as an orangutan.
It's true.
But then when they just ape up his face, it's just, well, he's got puffy jowls and a short nose and bald. And I don't know. Yeah, you squint a little, and that's really good makeup, Rick Baker. I hope you won the Oscar.
Paul Giamatti, and that's it. Chris Sagasag says, son of ex-baseball commissioner Bartlett Giamatti. Bartlett Giamatti. So
that
good
sounds
to know.
That sounds like if I was on a game show, like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, smarter than a fifth grader, that sounds like that would be a multiple choice test. I wouldn't have to use a lifeline or anything of my friends who would say in message thing, son of the ex-baseball commissioner, A. Bartlett Giamatti, and it would be like, Hank Feldman, B. Nancy Sen, C. Chris Strang, whose birthday it is today. And then D, Chris Sagasag. I would be like, oh, no, I do need my lifeline. Hey, Dad, no, I just wanted to call and tell you I'm winning $1 million.
Yeah.
Because that's Chris Sagasag. Click.
Definitely Chris Sagasag. Yeah.
Thank you. A comedy bit performed by Larry and John.
Bjorn Borg says Paul Giamatti would make a perfect Ferengi. And I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree he'd make a good Ferengi. Yeah. Because he's got all the
see
Chewy,
though the old like the old. I want to see that old schlubby Klingon guy, not the Klingon that's like yeah, of course I'm old, but there's a reason for that because I killed all my enemies. Not those Klingons. Just be like the guy that's like, yeah, I sharpened the batlets. What are you gonna do? It's a living.
Yeah,
I want to see that Klingon.
That's right. That's right. He's the.
Anyway.
He's the what's the blood wine sort of sommelier,
Oh, that'd be great. I ain't drinking no blood wine.
Paul Giamatti, the sommelier, the Klingon sommelier. Awesome. That'd be good. Anyway,
I know that you're wanting to spend the next 45 minutes talking about because what's going on our beloved For All Mankind web discussion group is pretty interesting, I would imagine, to you as like a folklore thing and like social media and like audience stuff, because it was really fun for 3 years and then the show changed format and all the fans of that showed up and those people are stupid.
Yes.
And it's like, wow, the vibe of this place is very different.
Yeah.
And Nobody seems
it definitely, yeah, the vibe definitely changed, and I don't know if it's like a symptom of its own popularity or a victim of its own popularity, you know, where it's like, oh yeah, everyone says we should check out this show. Oh, the first couple seasons were boring, but now I like season 4. Or I don't know, but Jesus Christ, dude, what the hell happened? What has happened to our beloved The Right Stuff TV show? Spoiler
it's so
alert,
hard not to look
I am
at
all
it
caught
as
up on
like
For All Mankind, so I'm just going to be knocking spoilers all over the place. So if you haven't seen it, I apologize, but it's shit. So
did you oh yeah, you watched that all by yourself like in a day, right?
The science officer and I watched like the last like 5 episodes in a row. Yeah, it was rough, but we got through it.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, she was on her
Tony's
phone
right.
most
Turned
of the
into
time,
As the World Turns.
which is fine.
Yeah, I think you're right though that it's a victim of its own success, because once more, you know, it's always the same thing, right? The early adopters feel real gatekeepy about what attracted to it in the first place, and it was their little secret thing that they knew all about, and that they begrudgingly shared with people, and we curated our own experience, right? Like I didn't tell anybody about that show. I didn't want to listen to them and ask me who Werner von Braun was. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I think normal people are like, oh, this one sounds good, and then they sort of wrote to that. And now I don't give a shit. But I kind of stopped trying to educate those people because they don't want to be educated. They're like, oh, they ate Danny. Like I'm gonna fucking make a T-shirt that says that, because
that's my favorite.
Just like, I mean, it's so indicative of the level of critical thought of interaction with that fucking show these fucking Herberts are doing. I don't know.
It's so hard to take. My favorite meme. Yeah.
It's so hard not to take it personally though, right? Like, what the fuck do I care? It's a TV show I enjoy, but it's like, it's more like, wow, there's so much more for you to, don't wolf down that food, man. The guy who made that like has studied for 30 years, and you know, it's like, just enjoy what's there. And it's hard not to, you know, argue those folks going, well, I'm hungry, fuck you, I'm gonna eat it. Well, all right, it just offends me. So it took me like a month to get there, and now whatever.
Yeah.
Sag, do you really not know about this?
Oh, dude, it's like the number one like meme.
These people, man. So I forget what episode it was, like 4 or 5. They reveal that everybody's starving because rations are getting low and the supply ship hasn't worked. And at some point, Danny just goes and walks off and just, you know, listens to Freebird or something as his air runs out. And so it's a plot point that everybody is, you know, they told it in flashbacks. So it's a plot point. These fucking morons think, oh, well, all these other people survived and Danny's dead. So clearly they've eaten him.
They eat him.
And the first guy who said it, I was like, wow, that's hilarious. That's clearly what these educated scientists have done. Nobody's fucking grown potatoes using the Matt Damon handbook or anything. No fucking dramatic thing. They just ate Danny. Like, what?
They ate him. Yeah.
So yeah, that's sort of, yes, seriously.
Yeah, I
you can go there, man.
I don't even know where to start. Frankly. One of the problems is that, so the show has a structure problem.
I know, I think
right?
we kind of.
Am I fucking up again? Is everything fucked up?
Yeah, you're kind of burping, but I can understand you. Who knows how it comes out?
It says I have full internet. I don't fucking know. I don't understand what goes on with the internet. The show has a structure problem, right? Because the jump in 10 years for each season means you have two options. One, you trace the original characters over the course of the next couple decades, right? Or two, you introduce new characters every season, and they're trying to do both, but they're failing at both.
Yeah,
the other structural problem is that the technology and like space advancement is going way too fast. Like it's all just going way too fast. Like and we talked about this the other day, but or last episode, where they should not be on Mars. Like they should have been finding Mars in like the 2000s, right? They should be beefing up the moon, right? And I understand like the whole plot and everything. Like I've watched the show, but like the course of the show should have been like, okay, focus on the moon for a while, and then like Mars is like the new moon. Like we have to work to get to the moon. And instead, they solved it in like one episode. Like, oh yeah, now we're on Mars. Yeah. Now there's a colony of 500 people on Mars. And it's like, okay.
Yeah. I think you could have done the same exact thing with having expanded Jamestown, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're just saying we're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If not, yeah. And like no one like I'm sorry. There's a labor dispute on Mars with 400 people. Get the fuck out of here. Like there's no Samuel Gompers on the fucking Mars. Okay, this is a military installation. Like get the fuck out of here with that shit. That drove me insane. That entire plot line drove me insane. Like for like so many parts of that. Is the base really big enough to support this like whole underground like populist movement? Like no, there's like 400 people there. Like what are you doing?
So can I interrupt real quick before we get away from that, because that was my kid's big problem. He goes, he's 16 and his level of pop culture science fiction is off the charts, but he's like a C+ B- science student, and even he says, how is all of these fucking tunnels pressurized? Why are they pressurizing all of this space? They don't have to. And why do ghost ops look like the fucking top of Die Hard? And I was so proud because he said, like the fucking top of Die Hard. Like,
that's amazing.
Knowing that, like, what I would mean, what I would know what he meant. You know, the upper levels of Nakatomi Plaza, where it's all the you know, the steel bars and plastic stuff. And when the second he said it looks like the top of Die Hard, I was like, oh my God, that's the funniest goddamn thing ever.
That's really funny.
Anyway, why would they do that? I agree. So then please go on your rant. I just wanted to say my son saw that, and he's not a sophisticated TV watcher.
Well, and so like one of the other big things is like, oh, this is such a good sci-fi show. It's like, well, it's not supposed to be a sci-fi show. Right? It's supposed to be like, and okay, fine. We want to be pedantic about it, right? Fine, like science fiction, I get it. But like it's supposed to be like an alt history. You know, that just diverges a little bit, and then all of a sudden you're over.
That was a big argument. That was a big.
That
was the big argument on the For All Mankind forum, that, you know, I said adventure fiction. But there was some woman, I said it's adventure fiction, and she's like, well, it might be to you, it's science fiction to me. And I'm like, well, it's technically alt history, and that's why the people who loved 1 through 3 do not like this season, because there's no alt history at all. Like, they're like, if they had made the Daniel Stern character Lee Iacocca, okay, alt history, right? But there's nothing about this season to give the people who liked the first 3 seasons. It's like, and it's like all these dipshits who go, it's a prequel to The Expanse. Okay, now you've just like shit on this awesome show because I don't know. It was really stupid. I don't like it.
So the prequel to The Expanse,
that gets into my whole layered thing about like not knowing The Expanse.
Well, the prequel to The Expanse part is like, it was an inside joke that like in The Expanse they had like a poster that was like, come to Jamestown Base, historic Jamestown Base, or something like that, right? That's where that comes from. And like, it's not supposed to be serious. It's not supposed to be like, yes, 1-to-1. Like, it's supposed to be a joke. Like, people are dumb. Yeah.
Huh. You know what?
Damn it,
This might. Hey, John. This might be me. Let me go upstairs.
Okay. Oh, hey, everybody. It's just me here. Look at my cool little insignia here. You know, no big deal. This is the office, you know. Just me riffing by myself. What I do love about For All Mankind is that there are patches. There's patches for everything. I gotta get, look, the fun thing is that like they'll go on sale. Well, they'll put out these like, you know, season 3 patches or whatever, but then like you wait a few months and they go on sale so you can get it like half off. So that's always fun. What's your favorite patch? One of my favorite patches, I actually really don't like the Jamestown patch that they have. I do like some of the mission patches that they did for the Apollo missions, you know, Apollo 81 or whatever the fuck it was, right? You know, I really like those. I wish they would just keep doing Apollo missions, man. Like, what the fuck? Like, I want to know more about the Apollo program. I want to know more about the state of the space shuttle, right? And once they introduced that second space shuttle, the Pathfinder, and they didn't give us like all of the technical schematics, that's when we knew. That's when we knew things were going downhill. Things were going downhill because that's when it stops being like a geeky right stuff TV show, and that's when it starts verging into like, you know, generic sci-fi, right? And that's really what bugs both of us. If I can speak for Larry here, that's really what bugs both of us is that like this isn't good enough to be a good sci-fi show, but it's fantastic if you want like an alt history, like right stuff TV show, right? What do you guys think? Interesting. Yeah, that's a really good point. I hadn't thought about that. Thank you. I also think that what we really need to do is we need to get more patches. We need to get more technical diagrams. Like if there was like a technical manual to like the lunar modules or whatever they call them the jumpers. I think they call them, right. If we got a technical manual for those, if we had an encyclopedia of all of the different patches, if I definitely want blueprints of the Pathfinder. There's also the Sea Dragon. I think the Sea Dragon is like a nuclear rocket that they go up from the ocean. That would be cool too. But like the whole thing should be based on exploring the moon, right? Like putting up the moon, right? And using the moon as your base. Like I don't give a shit what's going on in Houston. I want to know what's going on at Moon Base Alpha. That's what I want.
Yes.
Larry, what do you think?
I agree with everything you said, despite only having heard the last bit of it.
Yes. Yes. I know you do. It's okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry I missed it, but every once in a while something like this happens and I have to go back and watch it. So that's always fun because I'm like, oh, hey, that's some cool thing I didn't catch the first time.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that I really like the patches. And I really like I really want a technical manual, you know?
Oh yeah, of course.
Like all the different spaceships, you know?
That's I heard.
And like, you know, another example of like how, you know, the alt history versus the sci-fi, right? It's not good enough to be a good sci-fi, but it was like perfect level of like alt history, right? And so it's like they're moving too fast toward the sci-fi bullshit. I don't want a Mars show. Like I don't give a shit what goes on in like the bowels of Mars Station or whatever. Although as a Penn State fan, I do appreciate that it's called Happy Valley. But that's a whole other thing.
Is that a Penn State thing?
Yes. Yeah. It's the name of the valley, Happy Valley. Yeah, and okay. Can we talk about the asteroid? Like the idea of capturing an asteroid and flinging it at the Earth. Can we talk about that and how stupid that is for a second?
Yeah, I mean that's one of those things where it's like, do we have to? Like, there's never there's no world where that happens.
No.
Like, hey, let's try to throw, because they said the asteroid is the size of LA. So that's basically
that's huge.
That's Yucatan Peninsula sized.
Yeah.
Right. So
that's insane.
Like, I don't trust anybody to be so good with the math that they can account for everything that doesn't hit somewhere.
I don't trust rockets enough to be able to stop that acceleration. Are you kidding me? Right. Like put it in Martian orbit. Put it in Mars orbit, where if it gets fucked up, the only thing it ruins is Mars. Who the fuck cares about Mars? You know?
It's certainly less to lose.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Well, now they're gonna find life, and Kelly's gonna find life, and her son is gonna be the scion of all the Martians because he, was born in space or whatever. So it's all bullshit. The whole thing's fucking bullshit.
But isn't that horrible? Because
yes.
And I know that's exactly where that show's going.
Yeah.
And so who cares? They've done that a million times.
I don't.
They lost me. Like, all they had to do is keep that right stuff in there, do some Moon Marine stuff. Hey, guess what? Band of Brothers is great. Why don't you fucking do Band of Brothers for a season on the moon? Are you people retarded? Oh, well, we wouldn't, answer yes.
Well, that's the whole point, right? We wanted, and for the first couple of seasons, we got the right stuff, the TV show, right? And now we're, 40 years in to this timeline, the 60s to the 2000s. Where's the next generation of astronauts coming from? Where's the next generation of astronauts coming from, right? Where's the kids who were born in the 80s and 90s who are like, fuck yeah, I want to be an astronaut? Like, what's their motivation, right? Now they're becoming astronauts in the 2000s, right? First of all, we all know Danny sucks, but the idea that he was like 24 and already an astronaut can just fuck off forever, right? He should not have been an astronaut. First of all, just age, he shouldn't have been an astronaut. He would have never passed the psychological profile.
Never.
Give me a break. He wouldn't have passed the psychological profile to get into the Naval Academy, let alone be a fucking astronaut.
To get a driver's license.
The idea that they would all cover for him is absolute nonsense, right? There is not a single character that has done more of a complete 180 than Ed Baldwin. Ed Baldwin.
That one's cool, though. I like that.
Okay, you're cool with that.
I like it because it's not something I would have liked to have seen, but at least I get what they were doing, right? He's grumpy dickhead, and now he's chill, pot smoking grandpa is even learning there. So I get that. He never thought he was going to live past 40. And so the way he was fucked up last season, he's like, he doesn't know what to do because he didn't plan for that. He thought he would have been dead, right? And so that's why so maybe I wouldn't have done that. Maybe I don't like that as a fan, but I get what they're doing.
Right.
The other stuff I don't get. I'm like, where'd that come from?
Making him a labor organizer?
Like stuff like that. Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry. They're going to steal equipment to make a ghost operations center in like a week.
Well, I mean, that's a TV thing, though, and they totally explained it, right?
Miles, I know they explained it, but it was stupid.
Well, so, it's not... Don't be one of those guys that, like, that's a plot hole. It's like, Miles is...
No, I don't think it's a plot hole. I think it's just stupid.
Well, the whole show is stupid if you look at it like that.
Stupid. That's a fair point.
This whole season, I mean, that's kind of what we're saying, right?
Yeah.
They have to do dumb shit like that. And even the whole Chekhov's actual gun thing.
Oh my God.
Those cats on the fan forums, like, well, that guy's got to have really good eyesight to have seen that tire iron from way over there. And you're like, yeah, these guys are astronauts, right?
Right.
And my fucking Chevy Bolt outside has a computer power that would go, hey, that's a pretty strong anomalous iron content. We better go check that out. That's something, right? Like, why do you have to explain that to the audience?
Yeah. No, that was stupid. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. I really, really dislike Dev Iessa. But I thought they did a good job of fleshing out his character. I just think they made him do stupid things.
I had no sympathy for that character, or
no, I don't have sympathy for any of these characters.
I was like, I don't care.
Zero sympathy for any of these characters. All of these characters deserve to go to jail.
Agreed.
At best case scenario, they should all be in jail. When she threw the guy into the ion engine, and he was only saved because of the tether, like, dude, you're going to jail. Like, you should be hanged.
Right. That's
like, this is insanity.
Yeah.
Insanity.
Well, hopefully there were no cameras on the outside of the ship, and it was like, he lost his footing. That wasn't me.
I'm sure he'll testify on her behalf. It's difficult to discuss because I disagree with every decision every character made, with the exception of like Danny Poole.
Yeah.
Like Danielle Poole is like the only good character in this entire season.
Well, she's the only one that stayed true to her characterization from earlier.
Yeah.
So it's, even if you didn't agree with decisions she made, it was it was true to her character as previously presented, right?
Yeah.
And that's why those numbnuts just offend me so much, because it's like, I like this new thing. It's like, yeah, but it used to be great, and now it's just okay.
Yeah. Like, I want to rewatch season 1, right? Like, I want to go back and rewatch season 1, season 2, just to remember how much I liked it, and I will never rewatch season 4.
That's agreed.
I just won't. Like, unless I have to and I'm getting paid to do it, like, I won't. Like, I just won't.
Well,
and look, Chris Sagasek. The more you guys bring stuff up, the more I'm really disappointed with the season. If you like it, that's fine. That's great. I just don't think you should like it.
That's the part I don't get with the people that want to argue. It's like, I'm not telling you that you can't like it. I'm just saying all this other stuff, and then they get mad. That my wife figured it out. She's like, everybody's mad they don't see it, and so you're the dick. And I'm like, okay, well, all that does is I have to go move to the other one where they actually are all adults. Like,
Larry, we've had this problem since 2017 when we're out there screaming about Star Trek Discovery, and everyone's like, whoa, it's going to be great. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean I don't like it. Like, that's not what we said.
Right.
We're just saying it's bad. We don't say you don't have to like it. Like, there's a difference. Although, to be fair, I did at one point say that everyone who likes it is a bad person.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other issue. I was in a bad mood that day. All right.
I was going to say, I've never said that, but then that makes you admit that you have said that. And I'm like, all right.
I was having a bad day. All right.
I'm not going to be that guy.
I lost a lot of Twitter followers that day.
Tweet us. Yeah. Yeah, I don't pay attention to that. It's like, my wife does open water swimming. She's gone back and forth to Alcatraz. She's swum the length of the Golden Gate Bridge a couple times. She's clearly mental.
Yeah.
It's just, no, she's crazy. That's insane. But it's kind of like hoping for the fans. Like, when she starts, it's ice cold water. You hate it. You go a little more, and it's like, this is shit. And then you go some more, and it's like, oh, it's numb. The numbness is set in. Finally, I won't feel my death as I drown, right? And then you start to get into it, and then you're like, oh, if I get past this bit, I can see the Golden Gate Bridge. And then it's beautiful, and you're like, why doesn't everybody do this?
Right.
Like, because they don't get past the part to get to that, right? And so that's how I feel about trying to contextualize the consumption of pop culture I do, because I consume a lot. And the only way I can look at my wife in the eyes with a straight face is to, like, try to help people see what I see, right? And so when my wife, the swimming part comes from, when you swim in a pool, you're swimming, right? You swim in the ocean, you're swimming. It's a completely different thing. The audience is different. There's, in a pool it's 3 feet of water, and the other one is 300 feet of water. So maybe the scale is different, but I'm doing the same thing. You know what I mean? Right. So I don't know. I feel that's a really good metaphor for us, and I really appreciate the people who listen to us chat.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
God blesses everyone.
Yeah, God blesses everyone. So anyway, everything sucks, and I hate it.
Okay.
Just kidding, everybody. What else do we want to talk about with regard to any space shows?
This is. Can I just say something myself here?
Oh, sure.
This is pretty cool. My secret thing. I got a new iPad, and I'm like, hey, if my connection downstairs is just unstable for some reason, I don't know why. Because I have two computers run on different things, and literally the one that's 8 inches away from the other end works fine, but it's super old, so it can't handle this stuff.
Mm.
And but the new one, the brand new one, it's a year old, is like burp, 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 burp.
Oh.
And then look
I
at
don't
us.
understand computers. I don't
We've been
understand
blaming
them.
you the whole time, man. Hey, those tin can string people out in Virginia. It's like, no, it turns out that was my end, I got a feeling. Anyway.
It's those prospectors out in San Francisco.
Oh, speaking of, you want to talk about Mark Hughes and his idiocy, the Forbes guy?
Yeah, let's do it.
He to bring people up to date, he got all mad and threw a hissy fit because I posted some meme somebody sent me a week after Logan came out, and it like revealed that Wolverine and Professor X had died. Haha! It's like they revealed that in the trailers, but he got really pissy and became a thing. So the new thing now is oh my god, I lost it. My wife just texted me and it totally women. Speaking of wives, hey, I heard you're getting a cabin in the back. Were you able to no cabin?
We'll see.
Did you like those plans?
Yes. Yeah.
Gives you something to think about.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
I
was showing the audience before while you were in transit. I was like, yeah, this is the office. It's gonna go away soon. So we'll have to find somewhere else to hang out.
Maybe the men's locker room at the
Be by myself and away from everyone.
Is that room being tasked to something else, or are you just
yes?
What is it? Is it a? Can we guess, or is it none of our business?
I will reveal that at a later date. I have to word things correctly.
I'm going to guess that it's some kind of artisanal beekeeping.
Or
marmalade production.
No, she's a science officer. She's not a counselor.
So
she's not a humanities officer. She's a science officer. No, it's part of as the audience knows, we've been redoing kind of the first floor of the house, so it's part of that whole process. But anyway, we'll get into the more details. I'll have blueprints. I'll sketch things out for you at a later date.
We've been watching Reacher, and that's why I brought up the dipshits at Forbes. Some guy at Forbes said that season 2 of Reacher is the worst season of television ever made.
Oh boy!
And I thought
that's a pretty high bar.
That was a pretty bold thing to say, because forget that that's a perfectly serviceable television show that's entertaining. Does what it says on the tin, right? It's a Reacher thing, and the guy who plays Reacher is huge, and apparently that's the only thing everybody cares about, is that he looks like how he is described in the books. So I didn't even read this thing because it's like, dude, it's not the best thing ever, but it is. There's no way that's the worst season of television ever made.
No,
like just as a hyperbole, that's not even really good hyperbole.
No,
because it makes you think of the 4 or 5 things that you think are the worst television shows ever made immediately when you read it. So that's the opposite of a good headline, because it makes you not consider what the headline is saying. You're making it consider how it's wrong.
Right.
And it's like the rookiest of, journalistic writing things. And it's like, was that the writer? Was it an editor? Was it the publisher? Who's fucking doing that? And the answer is it's clickbait, and people click on it for the outrage. I totally get that, but it's not right. It's not an effective headline. So like, it's like AI art. You have to stop calling it art because it's not art.
Yeah.
Right. And so a headline that doesn't do what a headline is supposed to do, it's just clickbait. It's like pin number, that has to go away. It's just pin, right? Clickbait headline, for me personally, has to go away. Clickbait is fine. A clickbait headline, no. That's like military intelligence, jumbo shrimp, you know?
Okay.
Artificial intelligence. I don't know.
Okay. I was trying to think of a Discovery joke, but I couldn't think of anything fast enough.
Speaking of that, immediately my head went, Discovery, USS Exeter, like some kind of blue velvet thing, but it's like that's a layered thing. You need to have seen blue velvet, you need to know Harry Dean Stanton, you need to know he was an alien, so that applies to the sci-fi thing. You know what I mean? That's a pretty deep cut for a joke. You know who fucking got me saying something like that on our trip was my kid. We stopped to get halfway from his grandfather's house to our house is Bodega Bay, where they shot the birds, a Hitchcock movie.
Okay. Yeah.
And probably they have the best fucking pizza in a 500-mile radius. It's just fantastic. To the point where, like, for his birthday, I said to Mimi, I'll fucking drive to Bodega Bay right now and back to get that pizza for his birthday. No, he's covered. Don't worry about it. But so when we make that trip to visit, Pop, we get one of those pizzas, and it's fucking amazing.
I would not have guessed that they would have good pizza.
It's so, I don't know what brought that up. I'm getting early onset dementia or something. I'll start telling some layered. Oh, that's it. So we stopped to get pizza. It's a general store. And so we're getting drinks, right? I'm like, I'll try the Celsius garbage. This looks interesting. And he always gets like a dragon fruit Snapple or something. And as we walk by, he says something that has that cadence, right? And I've said Heineken, perhaps Blue Ribbon enough to him that he's never seen Blue Velvet, and I'd frankly advise against it. It's not that great a movie. Sorry, but he heard the cadence and he gave me back that reference. I almost shit myself. I'm like, I don't know what this power is that you're developing, but it's going to be good. You figure out how to monetize that, man. You're going to be the coolest guy in the world.
There you go.
Anyway.
There you go.
That's
one day he'll be on Mars leading a revolt.
Yeah. I don't think so. He likes the ocean too much. The green hills of Earth are not up in space, you know?
It's true.
So
it's true.
They
could be.
Well, not in our lifetimes, right?
No, all you gotta do is just nuke the planet a few times. You know?
Just get that terraforming thing going.
Yeah. You guys ever heard of that plan? You just nuke Mars and get that yeah, it's a whole thing. Elon Musk tweeted about it one time and everyone was like, that's stupid. I was like, yeah, it is stupid.
That's why I didn't hear about it.
Oh, snap. So yeah.
Ooh, look what's in the corner there. There's my shield thing.
Oh, I like that. Man, everywhere you go, you're just surrounded by cool stuff.
That's no, we're up in the kitchen, and that's the only thing upstairs that Mimi allows. If she likes it, then it's cool. Like we have a shag print from it's the crash spaceship from Planet of the Apes, and one of our artist friends drew us a little picture of one of our cats who died. He died when Mimi was on a business trip, so I told her he was on the moon. And so I got her favorite artist to draw a little picture of a cat on the moon. You know,
so that's cute.
There's our cat. She allows that up here. But then one of my buddies does all the behind the scenes set prop stuff that you see on. Well, he was working on Sleepy Hollow when he did this. So like you go to the police commissioner's thing, and there's all these framed plaques of
right.
Key to the City and all that shit. He makes that stuff for the sets, right?
That's awesome.
So he made me a shield of retirement thing for Christmas one year.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So Mimi was like, "Yeah, I'd be a jerk if I didn't allow that upstairs." Like, thank you for your service. Thank you for your pretend service, Larry.
I like it. Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I can't think of space shows because we've been watching Reacher. We've been watching Monarch, which I really been enjoying. I know Sagasag has been loving that. I haven't seen the end of that yet. I've been watching the show Loudermilk. Have you watched this?
No.
It's a Netflix show that's been on for 3 seasons. It stars Ron Livingston from Office Space, and he's in Band of Brothers too, I think, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yep.
Yeah, man. That when we were talking, I was like, why doesn't they do Band of Brothers in space? And I'm like, I gotta go. That's a fucking good idea. Better give that to my kid. Anyway, yeah. So that Monarch. Oh, what is not the Air, the Pacific Band of Brothers one? What's that called? Lords.
It's just called the Pacific.
The Pacific, yeah.
And then the new one coming up is called Masters of Air.
Masters of Air. That's the one.
Yeah.
Masters of Air.
And it's based on a book called the same thing, and it's about the 100th Bomb Group, which
Why'd
is like
they change the title. I said, why'd they change the title? You said it was based on a book called the same thing, and then the
a little confusing, I think, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. So that's gonna be awesome. We did watch the show with Jennifer Aniston and what's her face?
Witherspoon.
Yeah.
The
morning show. We watched that.
All right.
We binged that over Christmas break.
Let's, as my son says, let's go. You have to tell me what you think of this show, because I don't think there's a middle ground with John Price.
I love season 1.
I
hate everything after season 1.
Because it's not the same show.
It's not.
Maybe this is an Apple issue.
The characters are different. They act differently. What is the guy's name? Billy Crudup he is the best part of season 1, and then he's just like this middling office guy ever after that.
Did you watch the whole thing?
Oh yeah, we're caught up. Yeah.
So the season with him and John Hamm you didn't like? I thought that was really cool.
That was better. John Hamm makes everything better.
No, but I mean Billy Crudup's character. I laughed because
the
reason I don't know his character's name, because we just call him the Loki character.
Yeah.
It's that's the Loki guy did this because season 1 he was the mischief character, right?
He is, yeah. He's all about chaos.
Just do this crazy shit just to see what would happen.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. It was super fun to watch.
Yeah.
But
season 1 is really fun. I really liked season 1. We went right into season 2 because we liked it so much, and season 2 was just a massive letdown. I don't even remember specifically what the plot was or anything, but it's just all of the fun of season 1 was just gone. It was way too about the machinations of behind the scenes. It's yeah, that's fun, but I don't care.
They kind of have the newsroom problem, because once the first season makes this big splash, you have a plan for the second season, but now you're like, oh shit, the audience loved all that, and so you have to kind of deal with the ramifications of the first season, and it looks like what you say. It looks like a mess. It's because what happens is your A story is not the A story through the season. It's one season's A story, then the B story. And then the next episode, they go, oh, well, we have to give the actors all their time to shine. So that's the A story. Right. And then the B story from the other one is the A story. And it's just, that's great if you're, making cookies. But when you're eating cookies, you just want to eat the cookies, man. You don't want to mess with a recipe, because somebody's feelings might get hurt.
And there is a valid criticism of shows that just repeat the same formula over and over again, right? But I mean, it was such a drastic departure from 1 to 2. I think season 3 they tried to recapture that, and I think John Hamm did a good job of that. But one thing I do appreciate about the morning show is it is a very liberal show, but they give time to have the conversation as opposed to being preachy, right? So the show isn't telling you that insert woke ideology, right? Whatever. But the show will give you the conversation that leads you to believe woke ideology, right? I'm not saying that I'm not using that as a negative. I'm just saying
no,
it is a very liberal show.
When I said it makes me think. I wasn't making any kind of judgment about what you were saying, but more that this whole woke thing cracks me up, because I don't know if anybody's noticed, but I have, because I've been consuming media my entire fucking life. Media's always been kind of woke, everybody.
Oh yeah.
It's and so the only difference is now you guys are mad about it for some fucking reason. And it's that's okay. We're still going to pick up trash. throwing your shit out of the car in front of the crying Indians, not cool.
Right.
There's no counter argument to that, you dicks.
Right.
So call it woke like it's a bad thing, but like the regular people are just gonna be like, and at some point,
well, I think a lot of the criticism, I want to be careful because this is not my criticism, but I think a lot of the criticism would be from like the Michael Burnham problem, right? Where it's like she is only who she is because she is a woman or a black woman or something like that, right? That would be when people say like, oh, Discovery is woke. That's what they're talking about, right? It's not because she's competent as a character. It's because she is an ideology or identity or something, right? That's what people are generally talking about, right? Morning show, they'll come to that conclusion, but they'll have the conversation to get there, which I really appreciated.
I guess that's what I mean. That's how TV used to be, right?
Yeah.
Stuff would be like, you just described every episode of Barney Miller,
Oh, yeah, sure. No,
the entire episode would be having that conversation about some subject, and both sides presented and ending up on the, well, you're right. Homeless people should have a place to sleep that's cold.
And Morning Show did have complex characters, again, which I appreciated. They could have very easily just had a bunch of archetypes, stereotypes, but they had more complex characters. I just think season 1 was so like perfect. I mean, it's the same issue that every artist has, right? The first album is perfect. And then the second album, it's like, oh shit, now what do we do? Right? So I can't blame them. They tried to make it better. They tried to course correct, but we blew through that in like 3 days.
That second season too, history will look at it a little kinder because they produced that during the COVID. So so your scale
that was a little jarring. That was a little jarring where it's like the whole thing is leading up to the lockdown in March of 2020, and then it's like, okay, on to season 3. And it's like a year later. It's like you just skip the entire thing. Okay, all right, that's fine.
I kind of get why they did that.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
Because that was starting to get uncomfortable. It's like, oh no, they're not going to make us relive this again while we're still in it, are they?
Right.
Yeah,
that's true. And I'm watching it, 3-4 years later.
Yeah,
that's
true. So I don't know. The scale of the scope of the episode that you can put on is just going to be smaller because you can't shoot with a full crew and a full cast anymore. So I don't know. I was having this conversation with Daniel Keys-Moran. Do you know that guy off of my thing? He's a sci-fi writer. He's super smart, really interesting cat. And we were talking about, he brought up Sucker Punch. And I'm just like constitutionally unable to leave this that alone because I saw something in Sucker Punch that nobody else saw, apparently. But I wrote about it at the time, back when I was doing the pre-Dork stuff spectacularly. And it holds up. I mean, it's 10 years ago. I'm a better writer now, so there's some stuff that's a little like, oh, there's Larry showing off again. I kind of don't do that as much. But he had a really nice thing to say that it was like, that movie sounds like it was improved by having you in the audience. And I thought that was like a really charming way of saying I'm, an idiot and wrong. but that's how I feel sometimes about the morning show or any show that I'm starting to see a lot of holes in it, not narrative holes, but just like, ripped holes. Oh, I just say, we'll find something. Everybody's doing their best. Look who's here. Walker Young.
Hello.
Had to do it up here, man.
That's awesome.
All right. Are you dry?
Yeah.
All right. So it's pouring rain here. He had to come home on the bus because you and me are chatting about weighty, important, frankly, global stakes things.
The utmost problems of the world.
I actually have some news today. Can I announce it here?
Please do.
Dork Trek. I've been inspired by all the pop culture, specifically Star Trek, over my lifetime. I've written all kinds of stuff, short stories, comics, all kinds of crap. Reviews. EJ Fettis always calls my shield book. I didn't realize I was asking you to take 7 years to write a book. I got a lot of stuff, and so everybody always says to me, "Why don't you write a novel?" And I'm like, "Man, I don't understand the structure of a novel." Plus, I have this weird tendency to I love run-on sentences, man, and I write how I talk, which is very,
it's a style.
Free association with really good vocabulary. And I didn't realize how to turn that into a novel. And today, just rapping with my kid in Spanish class over text, I was like, "Hey, dude, I think I got an idea for a novel. I think I see how that could work." And he dropped some AP Psych science on me. I wish I could remember what it was, but it was basically like guys in their 50s and 60s like have a distillation of their thought processes, and that's why you see people, some people in the arts or just anything really, they maybe the top of your game is like being a seasoned veteran, but it's called something in AP Psych because it's all internal. It's like no, people have processed all their experiences basically like, oh, finally, if I had known then what I know now, So I'm like, hey, cool. So I started a book today. That was pretty cool.
That's awesome. Congratulations. You heard it here first, everyone. Breaking news.
I will make this solemn vow with you. I won't bring it up again until you tell us what's going on in that room. Because I think the same level of thought and hey, let me bake my cake before I present it to the world is at hand here with both of those. Thanks.
Yeah, a lot of cakes.
One's a little happier. It sounds like
a lot of cakes being baked. Yeah,
yours is different because you have to clean the place up before you can start baking cakes. I'm just gonna go. Hey, I got a cake baking thing just downstairs. It's shitty on Wi-Fi connection.
Pop it on,
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Well, that's awesome, man. That certainly beats any Star Trek fan fictions I have in my Google Docs. So I'm glad.
No, you have the best idea. You just don't have time to do it. The Forstall movie.
Oh yeah, no fucking kidding. No
dude,
kidding.
That's a good idea.
That is goddamn gold.
You could walk into Lucasfilm and go, "Hey, I'm Dr. John Price, PhD," and they'd be like, "What are you doing here? We don't do Star Trek. We do Star Wars," and you just plop
I'd
out.
be like, "Oh yeah, I just saved your franchise.
Yeah,
done." But we can talk about that at a later date.
But the reason that came up is because that's kind of how I'm feeling right now. It's like I'm like this sassy guy that when I was doing comics, I'd like to play with a presentation and come up with some new spin on. I wasn't inventing anything, but I'd like do some cool thing in a new way because I'm just coming from a different place than most comic book people. So I'm like coming from a different place from other novelists, right? So
that's awesome.
I'm like, I don't know what to do. And then I figured it out.
Nice.
And I was on a walk. Like, this is very bad, man. Like, they tell you, like, get drunk and fucking don't edit, And it's like, no, I'm under 200 pounds. I'm on my, like, daily trot. And I'm thinking.
Dude, Healthy Larry knows how to pump out novels. I like it.
Anyway.
I like it. That's
see.
Awesome.
We'll see. Something to nibble around with.
Hector's here. Hi, Hector.
Because I'm in the Exeter, I don't have access, or I can't figure out how to. There's a little button that says chat, but it doesn't show anything. So I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Okay.
Ooh, that's wait. Right. Oh, there, I found it. Comments. There's Gons, Masters of the Air. Damn it all, running late. Yeah. So I hope Hector heard me all bragging about being all fit now for once. It's pretty cool. It's weird. I don't know. The first thing I did, one day, the second I was under 200, it was 199.9. So I took a picture of it and posted it on the Space 1999 forum and said, "Hey, thinking of you guys today," and like
that's
nobody
hilarious.
got it.
That's really funny. And then,
and that's why I'm a Star Trek fan now.
Yeah, I like the idea of Space 1999. It's hard to watch, man. It's hard to watch.
It was hard to watch then.
Yeah, it's hard to watch, especially once it completely changes in season 2.
But see, that's when you were like 14, which I was at the time. That was fucking awesome. It's like wow, shit. All it's all like first season was like all bleak, and the answer to everything was like, well, we don't know. But so at least and then the second one, they're like, hey, rubber monsters, let's punch them. And at 14, I like that better. And so that's why I have a super fondness for it, but I understand it's like the watching TV equivalent of like I like circus peanuts.
I'm a Lost in Space guy. I really love Lost in Space. I love the old one. I love the new one. I like the shitty movie from like 1999. Yeah. I love all of it. Give me all the Lost in Space.
I'm with you. I think that's great. Space Family Robinson.
That's right.
I think that the movie with Joey from Friends is unfairly maligned.
I like it.
The only thing I wish they had done was when they have adult Will at the end, just fucking Billy Mummy's right there. How do you not cast Billy Mummy?
I know. Poor guy.
But that was the only thing that everything else I was fine. I like the spacesuits, everything. It's cool.
Oh yeah, I like the ship. I just like the Jupiter. You know what I mean? Yeah. I just really like that ship.
I also really enjoyed the new show. Like making Dr. Smith Parker Posey was brilliant.
Ah, fantastic.
Because you're fantastic. Like, I totally get why I would let my son hang out with you, and that you're crazy because you're Parker Posey. It was just inspiring.
And she played it so well.
She really did.
Just so good. I think I'm gonna watch that.
Let's start over. That's great. Let's do a new podcast.
New podcast.
That's it. We're doing all kinds of stuff.
Fuck Star Trek. Let's watch Lost in Space.
Well, dude, someday if you're not doing anything, this might make the science officer mad. But, that would be awesome on Thursday if you like rapped with Mark and Steve too. That would, I know. Sorry.
I'm lucky I get.
It's not like we're asking to go to a strip joint or something. Come on, man. Talk about
that would probably be easier to do. Because I could just drive, like I'm going to 7-Eleven and be back.
Sorry, I'll be back on Thanksgiving.
Take my laptop, sit in a parking lot, and be like, okay, let's do this Lost in Space podcast.
Oh my god, that would be awesome. How do you dress like that? We're out of carrots. Shut up.
Yeah, right. Well, I think this is a pretty successful first episode of Dork Trek. I don't know if you guys have any ideas, anything you want us to talk about. Obviously, let us know, and then we'll just keep on keeping on.
It's our free will in nature that I enjoy. I would be a fan of us talking if I wasn't me.
I am a fan.
You can tell that, like, I don't know. I can't speak for you, but this is like one of the high points of my week.
No question.
I love rapping with John Price about
no question.
And even I don't mean to brag, but my wife thinks it's cool. She's like,
nice.
No, she pats me on the head. That's nice. You got a little digital. Right. You got a digital buddy to talk that Star Trek stuff.
Oh, have fun for the next hour. Yeah.
Anyway, so thanks, John. Thanks everybody. Chris, Qui-Gon showed up. He's late. You know what? The only time he's ever shown up on time for us is when he was a guest.
Well, that's when it counts, right?
Well, but here's the thing. All that makes me think is we got to get him on next week, see if he's got time.
Let's do it.
All right.
We got to get him on. We got to get Shaneman on. We got to get Chris Sagasag on. We got to get Bjorn on. Let's do it.
If you can give me 20 seconds, I got to run downstairs to turn this off.
Okay.
So just
20 seconds. Just talk about whatever I want. I would like to talk about starships. I really, really love starships. That's one of the reasons I like Star Trek so much, right? Because it's just starships, right? Everyone gets all caught up in, Kirk and whatever, right? And I love Kirk, don't get me wrong, but it's starships, right? That's why I love Star Wars. I don't really give a crap about the Force or the Jedi or whatever, right? I mean, obviously I'm a big Wu-Tang fan, so I believe in the Force and the power of, all that stuff. However, fucking X-Wings are awesome. B-Wings are awesome. Imperial Star Destroyers are awesome. Even TIE Fighters are pretty awesome,
I guess I'm here. I don't know. Are you here?
I'm here.
Am I here? I don't know.
We're all here.
I guess I got to end the stream though. All right. Thanks, everybody. Oh, there he is. Oh, there's the Exeter. I don't know. There's